What It Takes Radio Company presents interesting ideas, and today we kind of frame ourselves in terms of the coaching experience. And with that in mind, hey, they don't just want him defeated, they want him dead. What's that all about? And then let's talk about the unlived life. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan, the Radio Man, back with more interesting ideas. And today I'm putting it under one of my other banners, which is the coaching experience. For 35 years, I've been a business performance coach, and we do a lot of business performance coaching. That was our major calling in much of our life. We developed radio work early in our life, but later on, as we became a business coach, we also combined the two. And now I'm doing less coaching, but still quite a bit. At the same time, my real passion is to help you get on the radio. So now I'm Stan the Radio Man and Stan the Coach Man and Stan the Radio Coach Man. Okay? And today, another interesting ideas. By the way, speaking of radio, I just discovered for some reason today is National Vinyl Record Day. You know, remember the days when there were no CDs, there were cassettes, and before there were cassettes, there were actually 8-track players, and before that, there were records, vinyl plastic records. And of course, like everything else, they are long gone. In fact, now there's just basically it's digital. But of course, now they're coming back, and you can go to the thrift shops and the old record shops, and people are nostalgic for the old vinyl records. Now, the idea is that because they were, again, this is very techy, because they were analog as opposed to digital, they actually could have a little better sound because they were not pixelated, they were flowed. If you understand that, forget it. Some of you do, but vinyl record. So that's part of what today is all about. Also, what I simply wanted to think about, because the political situation is around us, and one of the things we're discovering is that it's going to be a difficult, a challenging one, and obviously they're out there. One of the things that is complicating the factor a bit is that the Iranians are obviously threatening that Israel is on target again, and what's that going to lead to? And there are all kinds of things in the news about that. And to make it even more complicated, we still haven't heard what was the motive. They don't know. The Secret Service and the FBI still haven't been able to tell us what might have been the motive of the young man who tried to assassinate Donald Trump. But they do say that they know that that the Iranians who might want to attack the Israelis, and certainly would, they say, we're the big Satan and they're the little Satan, and they have to destroy Satan. That the Iranians may not just want to defeat Donald Trump, they may want to kill him. And so, that's obviously one of the concerns out there. We don't need any more chaos in the elections as it is. And obviously, it's going to be quite difficult to sort all these things out. And the American people have to make a decision over some very different views of everything in many ways. And so we will see. We will see. So that's part of what it's all about. Now, before I talk a little bit about some other things, I just want to do this today, in effect, to point out that I'm also in the business of, I'm doing this because I want to help you get on the radio and to have your own radio program and your own video program. Now, what I'm doing today is a little bit of a lesson. Now, please keep in mind, I'm making a point of saying that you can do this without all of the fancy studio stuff. That is now possible. You don't have to have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment to do a video or a radio podcast these days. But here I am, and now I'm basically violating a couple rules here. And I'm doing it on purpose because I want to demonstrate it a little bit to you. I shouldn't be wearing a patterned shirt. Usually, particularly for men, you should stick to a solid color. Now, this isn't too bad. Now, also, I love ties. I always have. And I've got an incredible collection of beautiful ties. Well, of course, a lot of people don't wear ties anymore, and my wife says, you sometimes you just dress too formal, go casual. Of course, I don't like to go casual. But I have a lot of different ties. I mean, I kind of invented the Trump tie probably before he did, except he was such an entrepreneur that he obviously made money on it, and I didn't. I just have them. And interestingly enough, I found out that when I gave a presentation, it worked best if I wore my dark purple tie. I have no idea why. But when I was in my white shirt, always a white shirt when I gave a presentation, and my purple tie, people would often comment, "Oh, I really like your tie." And oftentimes, women would comment more than men. Now, why that is the case, I have no idea. But I've always liked purple ties. Well, I don't wear it too often because, I guess I'm trying to be a little more less uptight. Now, so I'm wearing this shirt, but the problem is that you probably shouldn't wear patterns. This can be distracting, and very much be careful of stripes. Now, I'm speaking as an older man, and particularly you don't want stripes that go across. That'll just make you look fatter and bigger. And this is patterned, so it can be a little bit distracting. And sometimes if you move too fast, that the patterns they'll have a blur effect, and you don't want that. Also, here's the problem: because I'm not wearing a tie, this shirt could open up, and it would show more of my neck than I want to. So what I have done is to make sure that it kind of stays that way. I have some tape here that is holding it together so it doesn't show too much of my neck. And of course, I had a bit of a rash this morning, and of course, it's well taken care of with some makeup. That's right. And thanks to AI, my enhanced face is a little less wrinkly. That's all part of the deal. So I just share that with you as a part of what we're doing today. Here is where we are at in some cases. And so I simply want to bring this to you. All those are things about how to live life and how to do life. In effect, I used the statement that I copied. Karen and I are watching a Netflix movie about Anne of Green Gables, which we love the newer version because we literally read the book to our children, and they loved it. And then there was a movie of it. But she had a great line, and I'm using it more and more. I am a conscientious objector to the status quo. I love that line. I am a conscientious, and particularly when it's said by a 13 or 14-year-old in the show, it just is very, very wonderfully striking. And what I'm simply saying is, as I said yesterday, a lot of people are kind of quitting on things. They're kind of discouraged and depressed and upset, and so there's a lot of quitting going on. What I'm going to encourage you to do is to look for things now where you can make some kind of a status quo challenge. What is missing in your life right now? One of the wow statements that I heard. We also went through the Netflix. Again, Netflix has changed the world. Really has. Again, the movie industry, in terms of movie theaters, is struggling, just like regular radio is struggling, thanks to podcasters like me. And one of the things in the series on Queen Elizabeth, the last Queen Elizabeth, who recently passed away, is that she was talking about the fact that she was made queen at a very young age, and she really didn't want to be queen because her father didn't even want to be king. Uh, he stuttered and he didn't want to be, and he didn't worry about it because his brother, Edward, was going to be the king, but Edward fell in love with an American woman who was a divorcee, and he was going to marry her, and there was such an uproar about that he quit being king. you know, you know, the Duke quit, and as a result, George VI became king, and he died rather young. And at the age of 24, 25, Elizabeth became queen. And she then had to be the queen. And she said, I think I would have been much happier just living a normal life. She loved horses, and she loved riding, and she loved cooking, and she loved having an opinion on things, and she loved partying. And of course, now she has to be the staid, old, eventually, queen. And she used the word, sometimes I wonder about my unlived life. Now think about this. This is the queen, multi-castles, multi-mansions, multi-millions. And as a result, there's a heavy price that she says her children then had to pay. And her husband had to pay. And their marriage got okay toward the end, but it was pretty tough. All of that is brought out in this, obviously, not a documentary, but film presentation of what might have been and what was. So I'm just simply asking you to think about that. What about your unlived life? What's missing? What could you think about? What could you do that would increase the possibilities of you living more fully the life that you want? Particularly if you are at my age and stage. That's what we call the encore experience. That's another part of our programs. God has called you. Maybe you're 55, you're 60. Hey, you've got an encore to perform. I mean, you're not supposed to retire. You're supposed to refire. You're supposed to renew yourself. As one of my mentors said, he said, Stan, I don't want to rust out. I want to burn out. That's part of what I believe I'm called to do. Work as hard and as fast and as hopefully successful as I can until I just can't do it anymore. And by that time, hopefully I have created enough students. I call it SOS, the students of Stan. Yeah. We need help. I need help. SOS. You can help me and I can help you. The students of Stan, that in effect, we can live a life of coaching and mentoring and sharing wisdom. The younger people know the technology. They know a lot of things about how the world technology works, but they don't oftentimes know how the world works. And so I think many of our roles at this age and stage is to learn how to be wise, grand mentors to our grandchildren, and perhaps to the generation, one or two generations, maybe 3 generations younger than us, that somehow we live with such power and confidence and authority that people begin to say, you know, when I grow up, I want to be like you. I want to be like you. That's what I want. Just a kind of a wish, just kind of a thought, kind of a prayer that I have. And I thought that on this vinyl record day, I would share that with you. If I could be helpful, I do a lot of speaking and teaching on how to be a coach, how to be on the radio, how to be one of the 3%, how to perhaps be the kind of person you want to be, how to build a business, how to start a business. I've got a variety of talents, and most of them pretty good. And I'm pretty smart at knowing when I can help you and how. And I'm pretty smart at knowing when I can't, but I usually know someone who will. All the best and blessings to you. This is 15 minutes. I hope it has been worth your while. Take care until next time, whenever that is. I plan to be back tomorrow, and I've got an interesting subject for tomorrow, and we'll see what that's all about. Okay? Take care, my friends. I appreciate you, and all the best, and bye for now.